I decided to go back to my Skydome light with the HDRI. I thought that for me the physical sky was a little dark. But you always want to consider the mood that you're creating with lighting. If your scene is really happy and excited, you probably want a lot of light, maybe really intentional light. If your scene is scary or spooky, you probably want to be a little bit darker, maybe some intense spotlights. It's up to you. Um, but for now, we're gonna talk about cameras. So let me close this, and I'm just gonna scrub through my animation so that you can see it. I am starting at the beginning, going over these jumps. I did not do anything with the ears or with squash and stretch, so I clearly have to go back and do all of that. But I am using the entire scene space, so I don't think that one camera is going to cut it for me. I'm going to need to have a few cameras. And that means that we're going to talk a little bit about the different cameras you can create. It looks like in Create cameras, there are 5 different types of cameras. There are actually 2 types of cameras. There's a basic camera, and then there's the stereo camera. The stereo camera is meant for 3D shots, the kind where people wear special glasses and things look like they're popping out of the screen. We're not going to worry about that, we're just going to deal with a basic camera. With the basic camera, there are 3 different control mechanisms you can get. The basic camera will use all of your basic tools, so you can move it, you can rotate it, you can scale it, and it does in fact look like a fun little camera icon, just like that. The camera and aim, let's move this up a little bit. The camera and aim, you can move the camera and you'll see that it has this point over here. This is its aim point. It will always automatically rotate to follow the aim point. So that's the camera and aim. It doesn't rotate, or you don't control the rotation. You move it and it rotates to look at a given point. The third one is the camera, aim, and up. So here's your camera, here's its move. Fun, right? It's got a normal aim, just like the previous one, and then it's got this secondary aim point. This is the up axis. This is good for banking. If you really like roller coasters, this is probably for you. But please consider your audience and remember that your teacher has to watch this and that she is not really a fan of that kind of thing. So I don't know that I recommend it. I've never had a use for it personally, so I'm not going to deal with it. And in fact, the only camera that I'm going to use throughout my demonstrations is going to be the regular camera. So feel free to experiment with the other 2. But always keep in mind that motion sickness is a real thing and that you don't want to make your audience sick. You want your audience to leave enjoying your animation. So I'm going to work with the regular camera, not the other 2 types, and that's just create cameras. Camera, feel free to experiment with these 2. If it helps, with all of your cameras, once you've created them, they live in the panel menu at the top of your modeling panes. So panels, perspective, here's my new camera 1 camera. If I click on this, I will be able to look through it. I am seeing camera 1Z here. I can use all of my regular camera tools, and now I am essentially looking through my camera. If I go back to panels, perspective, now you'll see that I did in fact move my camera over to there. I'll get more into that in the next video. I just want you to be able to get used to moving into and out of your cameras and figure out what type of tools you like in moving your camera around. I'm going to use a basic camera. If you prefer one of these two, that's totally fine. Okay, in the next video, I will go about setting up a camera so that you can really define a shot and, if necessary, animate. So when you feel like you've got a hang of just moving cameras around, go ahead, join me in the next video.